Now we have more on the row over the economic benefits to the UK of immigration raised by today's report by House of Lords Committee. They say the government's overstated the money migration brings to the economy. Gordon Brown says that is not the case. Joining me now from Westminster is Lord Skidelsky, who was on the committee, who wrote the report, and in the studio, Philippe Legrain, author of Immigrants, Your Country Needs Them. Lord Skidelsky, is it possible you've got this wrong? Common sense would say if every immigrant stopped working tomorrow, this country would be a terrible mess.
I think the report has been somewhat misrepresented. What we say in the report is that there are no clear economic benefits from net immigration, that is, more people coming in than going out, not that immigration is a bad thing or confers no benefits on the economy. It's the net immigration that's the key point, and the reason why there's no benefit from that is that net immigration simply increases the population of the country. It doesn't necessarily increase the income per person in the country. That is the whole gist of the report.
Philippe Legrain, that is an absolutely fair point, isn't it? And nobody disputes, and the report doesn't dispute, that we need skills, we need people sometimes to pick our vegetables in East Anglia and so on. But net immigration, because it expands the economy, just because more people come in, does not necessarily mean that folk in the street are going to benefit from it.
The authors would be right if immigrants were identical to us, but it's precisely because they're different that they bring something extra to the economy. First of all, they make the economy more flexible, and that's why growth has been able to go on for longer without sparking inflation, and that has meant higher living standards for every Briton, and it's meant lower mortgage rates. If labour mobility within Britain is generally seen as a good thing, I'm sure the House of Lords Committee agree. If it's good for people to move from Liverpool to London because their labour isn't demand, why does the same not apply for people moving from Warsaw or Manila? And more importantly, in the long term, most of our economic growth comes from new ideas, and it's precisely because foreigners have different perspectives and different experiences that they help contribute the new ideas on which our future prosperity is based.
Lord Skidelsky on those points.
That's, I'm afraid, completely irrelevant to the point the committee has made. The issue is, do we want our population to go on expanding? It's not do we deny that immigrants contribute to things in a variety of ways, as Philippe Legrain's just said. The projections are that if we have net immigration at the present rate, our population will grow to 70 or 80 million in 25 years' time. With all the consequences of that, do we want that to happen? It's a population issue, not an issue of variety and such like.
Philippe?
Well, as far as I understand it, the report is about the economic impact of migration, not about whether the population should rise or not. In any case, I don't see why a rising population is necessarily a bad thing. I happen to like other people, and I don't see why the committee don't.
But Lord Skidelsky is talking about the net immigration is not of an economic benefit to us. Obviously, individuals coming with their skills, as you talk about, that's absolutely fine. Nobody disputes that some people coming here, if Bill Gates came here and invented Microsoft, that would be a good thing.
But it's not just Bill Gates. I mean, at the end of the day, Sergey Brin, who founded Google, arrived as a child refugee. Who knows what future immigrants are going to contribute to Britain? More importantly, if the committee thinks that we ought to have a cap on migrants coming here, surely they think it's desirable we should have a cap on Britons leaving too.
Let me just ask Lord Skidelsky one final point, which is that there's not much we can do about much of this, given that many of the immigrants come in from Europe anyway.
That's absolutely true. We have no control at the moment over immigrants coming in from the European Union, and we won't have any control over immigrants coming from Romania and Bulgaria in 6 years' time. What we can manage is immigrants coming from outside the European Union, and the committee says, very sensibly in my view, that we should have a target range so as to keep the net increase in immigration within much lower bounds than it is at the moment.
Lord Skidelsky, Philippe Legrain, thank you both very much. Undoubtedly this debate will continue. And now just some breaking news.